Good morning, everyone. I am going to show you this morning how I make applesauce. I use a couple of things. I use this little device that you can find online pretty inexpensively called the Johnny Apple Peeler, and I use the Instapot to make it. And the ingredients are apples, 1/3 cup of water, nothing else. Now you can season it if you want. Some people like to put brown sugar in. We don't. We just like the natural flavor of the apples. And you may notice that I've got some here that are already peeled. And look at that, is that cool or what? And I left a little bit of the peel on because the pectin is supposed to be good for you. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you how it works. We start by putting the apple on the apple peeler. I like to put the top of the apple on the core and into the little prongs itself. Then we bring it forward. And as we bring it forward, I'm going to hold this cutting edge back for the first few turns just to get it started. If I don't do that, it won't allow the apple to turn. Now you'll notice that as it's peeling, the peel is actually going directly into my little kitchen trash can, which I have right below me here. And it also cores the apple. So there you go. There's that piece right there that I just did. There's your little, there's your little accordion right there. So, and there's the core from the apple. So I back it off. The core goes right in the trash can. Okay? All right, now you can pause. All right, so I'm going to save a few apples. My wife likes a few just to eat. So I put about a dozen apples in the Instapot, all peeled. And some of them, as I said, still have the peel on them for the pectin. So here's that 1/3 cup of water that needs to go in. You need that for the Instapot. It will tell you. If you forget to put the water in, it will tell you. So we're going to put the lid on. Secure it, you can hear it coming on. Make sure you set the valve to sealing, not venting. All right, so here's the front of the Instapot right here. We're going to pressure cook. And I'm also going to turn off the keep warm feature. And I'm going to back the pressure cooker down to about 8 minutes, and that's all you need. Now it will take the Instapot about 4 minutes to heat up, 8 minutes to pressurize cook. And then it has to cool down a little bit before you can open it up, but then you'll have nice fresh applesauce. We'll come back to this when it's done, and I'll show you the simple preparation once they're cooked. So while the apples are cooking in the Instapot, I'm going to clean up the apple peeler. It's really pretty easy to clean. I'm just going to release the little suction cup lever here, and I'm going to just move it over to the sink. And you'll see here that there are a couple of things that need to be removed and cleaned, because it is a food product and you want to clean it well. So this comes off, this little wing nut comes off. I'm going to set that up here with a cutting blade. And also the coring blade comes off. This is the blade that actually cuts the core out and makes those little peels that I showed you. I'm going to set those up here too. And I'm just going to run some water over it and get in there and clean it with my hand. You do not need any special cleaners, any kitchen cleaners, anything like that. You don't want to do that anyway, because this is just the kind of thing that if you get kitchen cleaners on there, this is the kind of stuff that's going to be exposed to food. So just run a little bit of water over it. Make sure you get in there and get any food particles that are in there off, and then dry it off. And then I'll show you how to reassemble it here in just a minute. Okay, I have got the apple peeler cleaned up, and I'm going to put the cutting blade back on. This is the cutting blade that does the peeling. Goes back on with the wing nut. Pretty easy. They are sharp edges, so be really careful with them. Wing nut makes it easy to handle, so you just slip that back on there. You can't get it out of position. You can adjust it up and down for the thickness of the cut or the peel if you want, but you can't get it out of position. It only goes on one way. Now the other blade you can get out of position. You can put it on backwards. I've actually done that. You want to be careful not to do that. So this part, this is the side that goes up. This is the cutting edge right here. Cutting edge is toward the apple. So this just goes on down here. Again, it's a wing nut. Just screw it in. There you go. Well, so easier said than done, right? Here we go. I think I have it this time. All right. All right, so now it's back on, it's clean and it's back on. So what you want to do, the next step you want to do is you want to make sure that that blade is going to pass through that hole carefully and cleanly. So you have to kind of adjust it as you go. Crank it forward. Make sure you have clearance on the entire circumference on the inside for that to pass through there. If you don't do that, then it's just going to end up bending that cutting blade. There we go. Now I have clearance on all sides, and I'm going to secure that wing nut a little tighter. To release the tension on the cutting blade, and that's it. There's not much to it. Okay, the Instapot has timed out. It's ended. It's been through the cool down cycle, and I have opened the pressure relief valve to the venting position. You'll see there's no pressure in there anymore. So we can actually turn it and lift the lid off. There you go. And there are my apples. So what I'm going to do now is, they're still pretty hot, but I'm just going to take a potato masher, kind of mash them down a little bit. It'll take more than a few minutes. We like chunky applesauce. If you like it a little smoother, you can mash a little longer, but we like it a little bit chunky. And you notice, as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing in here except the apples and 1/3 cup of water. All right, there we go. And scoop a little bit out. It's still pretty hot, so you won't want to be a little judicious in applying this to your lips right away, but there it is, a little bit of chunky applesauce. And one of the things that goes really nice on some chunky applesauce is a little bit of whipped cream. And there you go. Fresh, homemade applesauce, from delicious and ready to go. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button.